And now, just one last level for those who've been around for a while now. So, you have, at this stage, you going back and forth between, band guy, singer-songwriter, now back a little bit towards the band. What goes on in your mind now when you is it more important now, for instance, to be more autobiographical, or is it less? Or, I mean, what goes on in your mind now when you go in to make a record at this stage of the game? Okay, you've been around. This is the 4th studio album, 6th album.
Right.
You've been around. So now, what's different now?
Well, I have to be able to relate to what I'm singing about. I was recently asked to write some songs for a J.D. Salinger movie and write about J.D. Salinger. So I reread Catcher in the Rye and 9 Stories and a lot of bios on him. And as I'm reading about him and seeing certain things, I'm writing something about this guy, but I have to find some part of him in myself to make that connection. And so you find these parallels to his relationships with women or certain things, and then I could find a way. That's the key to write the song. And as I write, I guess I got that from touring too, is that you write these songs. I wrote everything for the first album in New York City, and then you find yourself singing it all over the world, and people are telling you how this meant something to them, or how it helped them through this time, or they didn't understand what that line was about, or whatever. That there's people that are going to need to relate to it. So as much as it's personal to you, myself, it also has to be something that someone else is going to want to get behind. They're going to want to sing or want to find a connection in, and that's something that I became more aware of from taking the songs on the road and writing outside of my apartment or the bubble. And I like to tell stories, and I like them to be personal. I always say songwriting is an exorcism. It is like going to my shrink. You gotta take all this stuff, or things you might have problems with, your family, your relationships, your state of your economics in your wallet. It's all can be put in there, and you can find a way to kind of release that and have a celebration. Take your bad things and turn them into good things. Take the struggles you have and get up there. And I think if it's done right and it's done where you're not so serious, because it is rock and roll. When I was a kid, we got so into punk rock, from the Clash to the Dead Kennedys, and then we ended up into these anarchy and peace bands like Crass and a lot of these English bands, Crucifix, and we were so into the politics that we lost our sense of humor, and we started judging everybody. That we became a hierarchy. We became the new government of politically correct. You're not an anarchist. You like porno. You don't. You're wearing leather. You're not a. You put Exxon in your car. You can't live without being part of something. So I kind of watched it. There still has to be fun. That element has to be in there, as serious as it gets. The Clash had some very serious songs, but they also understood the rock and roll, Chuck Berry, Coca-Cola in a car, that mentality. I think that balance of Saturday night and of the consciousness of that music can make a difference. Some artists I have trouble when they get a little too righteous about it.
So now it's easier to integrate those contrasting sort of emotions.
Yeah, I think so. I always try to keep that in balance, at least I think, and I like to draw back to those initial things that got me excited. You can get kind of older and feel like, well, I don't like to listen to the Stooges or the Dead Boys anymore, but then some nights it comes out and you put that record on, you're like, wow, there's something in this, and you don't want to. The more you know things, for me, I get desensitized. I always need new records. As a writer, I need to hear things for the first time sometimes. And after you hear that first time, then you go when you want to write something. If I keep playing London Calling over and over again, sometimes I don't hear it anymore. I've heard it so much. And I think it's like with movies sometimes. But maybe with movies, you see different details, or with a headphone set, you might. But I always need something new to come in and go, all right, this gives me, and it's harder and harder. The things I like are from the past. But always looking for a new group or a new record or a new songwriter or somebody that's got something that's gonna maybe push me to get off the chair and pick up the guitar. So it's keeping that inspiration, I think, and keeping that excitement.
And the band this time on the road probably be a little bit more fun, right? Sharing it with the guys, right? Again?
Yeah, no, that's the point. I think is that you get to build your pirate ship, so to speak, and go out there. Whether it's a van or a tour bus or an airplane, whatever. You can, even the crew, everyone you pick that comes out with you, you put that together, and then you get to go around the world and be in that place and share it with people and sing those songs. And when you're singing them in front of people, I always say, like, you can't tell you sing a song alone in a room and then you say it on a microphone. It's like you want to hear if it rings true. Like saying it in front of public, it's like going to an AA meeting. Like, yes, I'm Jesse, I'm a sex addict, whatever. And like you hear yourself back. And I think that's why rock and roll's therapy. Spitty microphone with a shock and a 3-prong electrocution.
Cool, man. Cool. Congratulations on the new album.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Sounds great.